listening to the Holy Bible 1-Year Challenge with Master Storyteller Michael Wood, featuring the easy-to-read version and used by permission from Bible League International. Enjoy the show!
Hello everyone, welcome to day 352. We're continuing in the book of Ezra. The people are busy rebuilding God's temple. And what's interesting is that it's all being sanctioned by the Persian Empire. And the Jews have a great victory. They have an incredible worship service as they celebrate the Festival of Booths. And they reinstall many of the rituals brought back from the ancient days of Moses. It's so amazing that even the elders start crying as they remember how worship used to be. Just think about the people who haven't been to church during the 2020 pandemic, and then to return to church again, to hear the singing and the music and the awesome worship that they used to experience would produce a similar effect of this glorious nostalgia. But of course, there's always darkness lurking around the corner. And there are people in the Persian Empire who don't appreciate this state-sanctioned rebuilding of the Jewish temple, and they begin to cause trouble for the Jews. First, they try to say that they're going to help out, while all the while planning to undermine their efforts. But it's going to take more than that to convince the king of Persia that the Jews are really evil, and that this whole temple thing is a sham and a charade and a danger to the Persian Empire. We're also continuing in the book of Revelation. All 7 seals of the scroll have been opened. Now the angels are blowing the trumpets, and after each trumpet, a worse calamity happens. Everything from mountains falling out of the sky to dangerous locusts who just only job is to torture people. But of course, we're not done. And you'll get to experience what happens when the other trumpets blow. In chapter 9, the 6th angel blows his trumpet. And did you know that there are 4 angels of death who are sitting here on the earth just waiting for that big day, waiting for the alarm clock to go off? And that 6th trumpet is exactly the moment they've been waiting for. Now there's a 7th trumpet, but before that happens, there's a bit of an interlude, where a powerful angel with a rainbow for a halo comes to see John and asks him to eat a scroll. And if you're wondering what the scroll tastes like and how it sits in John's stomach, then don't worry, he'll tell you in Revelation chapter 10. If you enjoy the show, visit me at patreon.com/storymaster. You'll find the link in the description box below. By contributing as little as $1 per month, you will enable me to continue this ministry, and you'll get cool rewards too. Together, we're going to get through the Bible in 1 year. Let's get started. Ezra chapter 2, verse 68 to chapter 3. When the group arrived at the place in Jerusalem where the Lord's temple had been, the family leaders gave their gifts for building this house of God again. They wanted to build it in this same place. They gave as much as they were able. These are the things they gave for building the temple: 500 kilograms of gold, 3,000 kilograms of silver, and 100 robes for the priests. So the priests, Levites, and some of the other people moved to Jerusalem and the area around it. This group included the temple singers, gatekeepers, and the temple servants. The other Israelites settled in their own hometowns. Rebuilding the altar. So by the 7th month, the Israelites had moved back to their own hometowns. At that time, all the people met together in Jerusalem. They were all united as one people. Then Joshua, son of Jozadak, and the priests with him, along with Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, and the people with him, built the altar of the God of Israel. They built the altar so that they could use it to offer sacrifices. They followed the instructions in the law of Moses, the man of God. They were afraid of the other people living near them, but that didn't stop them. They built the altar on its old foundation and offered burnt offerings on it to the Lord. They offered sacrifices in the morning and in the evening. Then they celebrated the Festival of Shelters, just as the law of Moses said. They offered the right number of burnt offerings for each day of the festival. After that, began offering the continual burnt offerings each day, and the offerings for the new moon, and all the other festivals that were commanded by the Lord. The people also began giving any other gifts they wanted to give to the Lord. So on the first day of the 7th month, these Israelites again began offering sacrifices to the Lord. This was done even though the Lord's temple had not been rebuilt. Rebuilding the temple. Then those who had returned from captivity gave money to the stone cutters and carpenters. They also gave food, wine, and olive oil. They used these things to pay the people of Tyre and Sidon to bring cedar logs from Lebanon. They wanted to bring the logs in ships to the coastal town of Joppa. King Cyrus of Persia gave permission for them to do this. So in the 2nd month of the 2nd year, after they came to the temple in Jerusalem, Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, and Jeshua, son of Jozadak, began the work. Their relatives, the priests and Levites, and everyone who returned from captivity began working with them. They chose Levites who were 20 years old and older to be the leaders in the building of the Lord's temple. Jeshua, his sons and his brothers, Kadmiel, Benui, and Hodaviah, together supervised the temple workers. These temple workers were the sons of Henadad, their sons and their brothers, the Levites. The builders finished laying the foundation of the Lord's temple. When the foundation was finished, the priests put on their special clothing. Then they got their trumpets, and the sons of Asaph got their cymbals. They all took their places to praise the Lord. This was done the way King David of Israel had ordered in the past. They sang songs of praise and thanksgiving, taking turns in singing each part. They sang, "The Lord is good, his faithful love will continue forever." Then all the people cheered. They gave a loud shout and praised the Lord, because the foundation of the Lord's temple had been laid. But many of the older priests, Levites, and family leaders who could remember seeing the first temple began to cry aloud. They cried while the others there shouted for joy. The sound could be heard far away. All of them made so much noise that no one could tell the difference between the shouts of joy and the crying. Ezra chapter 4, verses 1 through 5. Enemies against rebuilding the temple. Some people living in the area were against the people of Judah and Benjamin. They heard that these people who had returned from captivity were building a temple for the Lord, the God of Israel. So they came to Zerubbabel and to the family leaders and said,
"Let us help you build. We want to worship your God the same as you. We have offered sacrifices to him ever since King Esarhaddon of Assyria brought us here."
But Zerubbabel, Jeshua, and the other family leaders of Israel answered, "No, you cannot help us build a temple for our God. Only we can build a temple for the Lord. He is the God of Israel. This is what King Cyrus of Persia commanded us to do." So these people who lived near them tried to discourage them and make them afraid so that they would stop building the temple. They paid government officials to work against the people of Judah to keep them from completing their building plans. They did this the whole time Cyrus was the king of Persia. It continued until Darius became king. Revelation chapter 9, verses 13 to 21. The 6th trumpet blast. The 6th angel blew his trumpet. Then I heard a voice coming from the horns on the 4 corners of the golden altar that is before God. It said to the 6th angel who had the trumpet, "Free the 4 angels who are tied at the great river Euphrates." These 4 angels had been kept ready for this hour, and day and month and year. The angels were set free to kill 1/3 of all the people on the earth. I heard how many troops on horses were in their army. There were 200 million. In my vision, I saw the horses and the riders on the horses. They looked like this. They had breastplates that were fiery red, dark blue and yellow like sulfur. The heads of the horses looked like heads of lions. The horses had fire, smoke, and sulfur coming out of their mouths. 1/3 of all the people on earth were killed by these 3 plagues coming out of the horses' mouths: the fire, the smoke, and the sulfur. The horses' power was in their mouths and also in their tails. Their tails are like snakes that have heads to bite and hurt people. The other people on earth were not killed by these plagues, but these people still did not change their hearts and turn away from worshiping the things they had made with their own hands. They did not stop worshiping demons and idols made of gold, silver, bronze, stone, and wood, things that cannot see or hear or walk. They did not change their hearts and turn away from killing other people or from their evil magic, their sexual sins, and their stealing. Then I saw another powerful angel coming down from heaven. The angel was dressed in a cloud. He had a rainbow around his head. The angel's face was like the sun, and his legs were like pillars of fire. The angel was holding a small scroll. The scroll was open in his hand. He put his right foot on the sea and his left foot on the land. He shouted loudly, like the roaring of a lion. After he shouted, the voices of 7 thunders spoke. The 7 thunders spoke, and I started to write. But then I heard a voice from heaven that said, "Don't write what the 7 thunders said. Keep those things secret." Then the angel I saw standing on the sea and on the land raised his right hand to heaven. The angel made a promise by the power of the one who lives forever and ever. He is the one who made the skies and all that is in them. He made the earth and all that is in it. And he made the sea and all that is in it. The angel said,
There will be no more waiting. In the days when the 7th angel is ready to blow his trumpet, God's secret plan will be completed. The good news that God told to his servants, the prophets.
Then I heard the same voice from heaven again. It said to me,
Go and take the open scroll that is in the angel's hand. This is the angel who is standing on the sea and on the land.
So I went to the angel and asked him to give me the little scroll. He said to me,
Take the scroll and eat it. It will be sour in your stomach, but in your mouth will be sweet like honey.
So I took the scroll from the angel's hand and ate it. In my mouth it tasted like sweet honey, but after I ate it, it was sour in my stomach. Then I was told,
You must prophesy again about many races of people, many nations, languages, and rulers.
Proverbs chapter 30, verses 24 to 33. More wise sayings of Agur, son of Jacob. There are 4 things on the earth that are small but very wise. Ants are small and weak, but they save their food all summer. Badgers are small animals, but they make their homes in the rocks. Locusts have no king, but they are able to work together. Lizards are small enough to catch with your hands, but you can find them living in the palaces of kings. There are 3 things that look proud when they walk. Really, there are 4. A lion, the greatest of the animals, who runs from nothing. A cockerel walking proudly. A male goat, and a king in front of his people. If you have been foolish enough to become proud and make plans against other people, stop and think about what you are doing. Stirring milk causes butter to form. Hitting someone's nose causes blood to flow. And making people angry causes trouble. Thank you, everyone. That was day 352. Join us for day 353. We're continuing in the book of Ezra. The people of Persia caused trouble for the Jews. People start to question what the Jews are doing, if they have the right permits. An important governor named Tetani writes a detailed letter to Darius, asking him to double check to see if it's true that King Cyrus really allowed the Jews and sanctioned the rebuilding of this temple. And in the New Testament, we will continue in the book of Revelation. Before we get to hear that 7th trumpet blow, John gets notified that there are a couple of candlesticks. Yes, I said it correctly. 2 candlesticks come down to the earth. Some say they represent the church, but then they are attacked by a ferocious beast from a bottomless pit. 2 candlesticks versus 1 ferocious beast. What will be the outcome? Make sure you join us to see what happens when that 7th trumpet blows. We hope you enjoyed today's verses. Be sure to leave us a positive review and to share this podcast with your friends and family. Please join us for the next episode as we experience the Bible in 1 year.
Did you know we offer online courses in creative writing, literature, and web design? Visit us at storymaster.online to learn more.